Good morning!
Santa Barbara Teen Sports listeners, I'm your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m. Hey, Santa Barbara, another beautiful day here in Santa Barbara, California. Welcome back to Teen Sports Radio, the station that talks about Santa Barbara, things that's happening here on AM 1290 and FM 96.9. It's a brand new season. The air is getting a little crisper. The days are going to get a little shorter. And the energy on the field and in the classroom, I feel, is heating up. Fall means Friday night lights. I love Friday night lights. I love football. Fresh goals and new chances to fuel your body and your mind. Whether you're hitting the books, the gym, the big game, we've got the tips for you. We got all the tools for you. And we're going to give you the inspiration to help all of today's teen athletes thrive and maybe give some hints and help to the parents and the grandparents to pass on the information. So grab your gear, grab your friends, because Teen Sports Radio is here to kick off the fall season with you. Ryan Quirk has returned. He's got a section with us. Sky Ellsworth is in the house. He's got a section. Dominique Hackett is going to be talking about a great thing. Hack. What are you going to be talking about, Dominique? You got
attention. Yes.
Attention.
Going to talk to teens about building your attention.
Attention. I know Ryan's got a really cool story. He's our college student author. Really proud of watching him grow the last going on now 3 years. Really excited to have him aboard, and he'll be back. He's back. He's not will be back. He is back. And then we're going to go to the stars, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. We've got Kristine Marie. She's going to start off the show. But before we get to all that, we love, to embrace our community. One of the best communities on this planet. All right. So, Dominique, who are you going to give some love to?
Oh, my gosh. I love bookstores. And I want to give love out to a new bookstore in Summerlin. It's called Godmother's Bookstore. It's a small independent bookstore. Don't pass up Summerlin. Pull off the freeway and go check it out.
Beautiful.
Oh, you know what? And if you're in Summerlin, check out Sacred Space, which is at the other end of Summerlin from the Godmother's Bookstore. And that place, there's beautiful crystals and it's like a metaphysical, really, and a magical place where you can buy things for your garden. And I actually give readings there the last Sunday of every month. It's a beautiful space just to go in and hang out and have tea. So if you're in Summerlin, go to Sacred Space too.
Woo! Summerlin is that place where you just drive by. They got great restaurants there.
Yes.
Too. Mm-hmm. It's like it's cool. They got great coffee shop there. I don't know the name of it, but
there's one called Field and Fork, which is right next to Sacred Space. So you can go to Sacred Space, shop around, then go get something to eat, then keep going down to the Godmother's Bookstore, and then there's also a restaurant right next to that. There's a lot of stuff to do in there.
It's the day in Summerlin. Let's push Summerlin all day. Let's go. Date night, Summerlin.
They roll up that town pretty early though, so you might want to be date afternoon.
Yeah. I want to give a quick little shout out. We got a couple of minutes here. I want to do David again. He's got his own tree service company, just branched out on his own after, putting 20 years into the business. But oh my goodness. This guy, would you say he's like a tree whisperer?
Oh, he's lovely. He very kind.
Yeah, he saved me actually because I lost my insurance, and he fixed everything all up nice and pretty, buttoned up the house, got all the trees off the roof and all that other kind of stuff. It really wasn't that bad, but that's okay. But then he did this assessment of the property, and he noticed what, Dominique? We have a tree that is in desperate. It's weeping. It's in desperate need of love.
We're going to have to take a branch off.
Yes, we're going to just do it's a surgical procedure, but we're going to sage the tree. Christina's going to do a little
lose a branch, but save the tree.
Yes, lose a branch, save the tree. So anyway, his number is 805-258-9005. I'll say it again, 805-258-9005. We love David Tree's service. Dr. D, you've got somebody. You got a minute?
Yeah, I'm going to shout out to Santa Cruz markets. Ever since we moved out to Goleta, I have always enjoyed not only the walk there, but going in there and sort of shopping and mingling with all of the customers and the employees, because everybody it's like they're always smiling. It's really cool.
They are so nice there.
Yeah,
and the people have been there for like 20 some odd years.
Yep. And they are also a sponsor of Friday Night Football and Santa Barbara City College football on Saturdays.
And don't forget to go outside and grab yourself some flowers. Okay. He's been there for probably 40 years as well.
That's right.
It's amazing. I love that whole area. It's like walking into a portal of sunshine. Mm-hmm. Go Santa Cruz. Thank you. It does my heart. Yeah, I love that place as well. Kristine Marie, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Woo! We'll be back with Kristine Marie, A View from the Deck, right after these messages. We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome forward. This is Kristine Marie with A View from the Deck. I love that. Why go back? Let's go forward. And we're looking up at the sky right now. Today's Tuesday, September 9th, and on the 7th, we had a full moon in Pisces, and we had a full moon eclipse. What do you know?
Ooh.
So that was super. Good timing calendar this week is all green. I like it. So whatever that means, that's good.
Interesting. It was a super moon, so the moon was so big, but it became like a red moon. They almost call it a blood red moon, or it's actually the dragon eating the moon. I don't know if we were able to see it from this place, but and an eclipse is when the shadow of the earth passes between the sun and the moon, essentially, and that's what kind of changes the view of the moon for us. And right now we are in eclipse season, and so right now the moon is waning, which means it's going back towards new moon. And on the new moon in September, I think it's 29th or 30th, we're going to have a new moon eclipse, or a solar eclipse, actually, because that's when the new moon actually passes in front of the earth. And what's really cool, teens, I don't know if you know this, but the moon is even though the moon is so much smaller than the sun, the distance it is away from the sun and from the earth, it is actually the exact same size and blocks it out exactly.
That's so amazing.
So cool. Like, who plans that? Right. Did that get planned? I don't know. It's a pretty magical and serendipitous and beautiful. And so we're in the middle of, in the midst of eclipse season. And what's kind of cool this eclipse season is that in the middle of this eclipse season on September 22nd is the equinox. And that is
the big solar cycle.
It's a big solar cycle. So we're just talking about lunar cycles, right? The solar cycles are, we have the autumnal or fall equinox. We have the which is the balance when the days are equal. The day is equal to the night. Then we have the winter solstice, where it's the longest night and the shortest day. So after September 22nd, and once they're balanced, we start getting longer nights and shorter days. Then at the winter solstice, we start moving towards the vernal or spring equinox, which is around March 21st. The winter solstice is around December 21st, 22nd. Then we start moving to the vernal, the spring equinox, which again, everything comes balanced. It's the day is the equals to night. And then after that spring equinox, we start moving towards the summer solstice, where it's the longest day and the shortest night. So that's the solar cycles.
I love how this time period starts the beginning of the New Year's.
Yeah. Because I think the Celtic New Year, there might be one before that, but the Celtic New Year, which is Halloween, essentially, that is the Celtic New Year. And then in the dark. Yeah, in the dark. There might be a Jewish New Year that comes right before that Celtic New Year. I have a feeling it's in the fall in some way. And there's like a fasting, a different thing that happens. And then we have our calendar New Year, and then we have the Chinese New Year, and then we have the Astrological New Year, which
and the Persian New Year too.
The Persian New Year, right? And the Astrological New Year starts always in Aries.
Yeah,
that's the first sign, and it ends in Pisces, which is the last sign, and that goes through the 12. So
I mean, these cycles are pretty cool.
And so it's a change. So teens this is in the perfect spirit of change and everything what we were talking about
Change
today.
and reveal.
Yeah.
I mean, I love how
reveal.
the moon cycle seems to reveal.
Well, yeah, this lunar eclipse that we had on the 7th was really about letting go of old patterns that don't serve anymore. And then we're coming into
Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. Somebody's got to make a song about let it go.
That's that Frozen song, right?
Yeah,
so we let it go, and then we come into balance with ourselves, come into some sweet emotional balance, and then we come back into that. Then we move in towards. There's only a week or so until that next the solar eclipse, and that's kind of about like looking at your shadow. What else is there to clean up, right? There's times, like before we knew what was happening in the sky, a solar eclipse was very, very
frightening.
Portent. A portent of disaster, or I'm not sure. The gods talking to us in some way.
To make the sun disappear, what a massive amount of evil that must be, right?
One would think. And if you think about and that's just we come back to the beginning of our conversation when we talk about that the exact dimensions of the moon and exactly how far it away is, it actually covers the sun completely during a total eclipse.
Yeah.
During a partial eclipse, it's only going over part of the sun, but it's so amazing to experience that.
The fun analogy of, it's just the shadow. For a short while, we can see the shadow of the moon, or we can see the shadow of the sun, or the shadow of the earth, all playing on different planetary bodies. And we have our shadow.
Right.
And it's just so fun to think of our shadow side getting revealed, because I know for myself, I didn't understand the shadow. I didn't understand that it was my source of creativity. So
Carl Jung calls that the projection and the unconscious becoming conscious. So whatever comes up for you, look at. Don't be afraid of it. It's the stuff we refuse to look at that bite us in the butt. That's what I say.
Yes.
Anyways, so feel free to get in touch with me at A View from the Deck on Facebook, or you can text or call me 805-350-2705. This has been Kristine Marie.
And you're at the Sacred Space, right?
Oh, that's right. I'm at the Sacred Space. Yeah, the last Sunday of every month. And actually, Paradise Found, this weekend? No, the next weekend. They always do an equinox tasting. So come to Paradise Found. You can get a really inexpensive reading with any one of several readers that are there, and it's really a fun time.
Wow. And that's in Summerlin.
Paradise Found. Paradise Found is in downtown Santa Barbara.
Paradise Found, downtown Santa Barbara. Check it out. We got to take a commercial break. We'll be right back after these messages.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Teen Sports Radio. My name is Ryan Quirk, and I'm back with more self-mastery stories. For those of you who don't know, I've done some segments in the past where I talk about different lessons and moments of challenge and triumph that I've gone through in my life, whether that's through playing sports or just in life in general, because I believe that life is like school in the sense that we are constantly learning lessons. And at least in my life, I've found a lot of the biggest lessons I've learned have been as an athlete and even away from the classroom, in kind of all different sectors of my life. So in this story, I want to talk about embracing challenge and how challenge can really be an amazing catalyst for growth, and that when we embrace challenges with openness and perseverance, that we get led to wonderful things in our lives. And the first challenge I want to talk about is taking me back to when I was 14 years old. I'm 21 years old now. And I was looking to make my varsity ice hockey team. For those of you who don't know, I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and ice hockey is like a religion there. It's a very big deal, very big sport. And I was decently good. I never went to play pro or in the NHL or anything, but, I had a lot of fun playing competitively, and I was looking to make the varsity team as a freshman. And so I was in talks with the coach, and just about a week before tryouts, I was at this game about an hour away from my hometown, and I was making a play. I was having a really good game as well, and I kind of extended my arm and then got hit really hard. And I collapsed to the ice, and I did a little check, that little check that you do if you're an athlete, maybe a football player or anything. You're like, all right, am I all right? Okay. Like, I'm breathing okay, seeing okay. And then I looked down at both my arms, and one of them fell off. I looked down at one, and it just did not look right. Something looked out of place, and I was like, okay, I think I broke my arm. Let me stay calm here, take a few breaths, and I headed to the locker room. I was in there, and I was like, okay, it's definitely broken. It was visibly broken. Not too bad, nothing too graphic. I don't want to get too graphic here, but it was visibly broken. And the nearest hospital was an hour away. And not only was the nearest hospital an hour away, but there was very limited to no medical supplies at the ice rink. And so one of the dads of one of the kids in the stands was a doctor, fortunately, and he came down to the locker room and helped me out. He put my broken arm into my own sweaty shin pad, which is kind of like it's a pretty big pad that us hockey players have, and kind of kept my arm stable. And then I had to wait until the end of the game. No Advil, no nothing. He took ice from the Zamboni and put it in the shin pad to keep my arm nice and de-inflamed and everything. And then I got ready for an hour ride back. And what's funny is at first there actually wasn't too much pain. The adrenaline is there, and there wasn't too much pain. But as I started to get back, there was a lot of pain. My wrist was starting to shut, like my fingers were starting to curl. And, I made it into the ER, and it was pretty uncomfortable. And eventually, finally, they got me on some pain meds and put my arm back into place, wrapped it up, casted it up, all good to go. But what that also meant is that the varsity team that I was so excited to make as a freshman, I wasn't able to make because I missed basically most of that season. I think it was about 3/4 of that season I missed. And so I was distraught. I mean, hockey was my whole life. At that time, I didn't care about dating. I didn't care about school. I cared about hockey. I lived and breathed hockey. It was everything that I loved. And to miss that whole first year, such a pivotal year in, a player's development, and missing the chance to play varsity hockey, it was crushing. It was crushing. It put me in a pretty tough time, and I definitely resisted that challenge quite a bit at first. However, what that challenge led me to was I got put in touch with one of the doctors who works for a lot of the New England sports teams, like the Patriots, the Bruins, things like that. And he was the guy assigned to me to do physical therapy work on my arm once it was out of the cast. And so I was doing this physical therapy work. He's this really in shape guy, just knows a lot about the human anatomy. And he helped me get in the best shape of my life. I mean, he did not only help me rehabilitate my arm, but because of him, I gained a total newfound sense of my training regimen, my weightlifting, my diet, my sleep, my recovery. Like, he taught me so much about my body, and as an athlete, that's so important, and just how everything functions, that when I came back, despite missing the whole season, I was in the best shape of my life. I mean, I started as a 5'6", scrawny 14-year-old. When I came back that sophomore year, I think I was about 5'10" and visibly muscular. I think I'd put on 20 or 30 pounds of muscle. Not only muscle, of course, a little bit of water weight, just a little bit more weight in general from growing. But I came back in the best shape of my life, and I had an amazing season, and it was a lot of fun. And the long story short here is that, that challenge of breaking my arm, it sucked. It was painful. The rehab was annoying. It took a long time. The cast is itchy. It's not fun. And I had to miss out on that whole season. However, if I hadn't had that experience of getting put in touch with that doctor, I might have not come back in the best shape of my life. And throughout my high school career, I then went on to captain the team, win 2-time All-Star, 2-time MVP, different league awards, got scouted a little bit. And so if I hadn't had that experience, then I might not have been set on that new course of caring so deeply for my health, for my training and things like that. Before, I was a good athlete, but I was just eating Cheetos and Doritos and cereal and things like that. Afterwards, I came back, I had a much deeper understanding of nutrition and recovery and sleep and all the things that are really, really important for health. And I want to relay one more story that's kind of relating to this, just to kind of drive home the point of why we should embrace challenges in our lives and why we should trust life to bring us where we need to go. And that is my younger brother. My younger brother, he was a football player, basketball player, just a really talented multi-sport athlete. I think he played a little lacrosse as well, and basketball. And he loved playing football. But during his time playing football, even just as a young middle schooler, he suffered a bunch of different concussions. I think he had 4 or 5 concussions at a really young age, which for those who don't know is obviously incredibly dangerous, and he was forced to take a full year off of all kinds of athletic endeavors. Now, he could still go for runs, he could play pickup basketball, things like that, but he was forced to take a year off. And so it was in that time that, again, he was really distraught and, not happy with that. Sports were his whole life. But he decided to pick up something else, which was guitar. And, he picked it up, he started teaching himself, he had a lot more free time on his hands, and he fell in love with it. And he became, and still is to this day, this just amazing guitar player and musician, and he wants to pursue music. And he's luckily, fortunately, back to playing sports, back to playing football, being more cautious with his head and, the health of his body and everything like that. But if he had never been forced to take that time off, he might have never found one of his other greatest loves in life, which is music and guitar. And so oftentimes we get brought to a challenge and we immediately kind of label the thought, why me? Why do I have to go through this? What did I do to deserve this? Not realizing that, sometimes that challenge is almost brought to us intentionally. Certainly for me, I definitely believe that the universe is an intelligent mechanism and will bring us the different catalysts that we need for our growth into our greatest potential. I can't remember the last time that I watched a movie and the main character, the hero, didn't have to go through challenges. And in fact, I can't remember the last time I watched a movie and the challenges weren't the most exciting part of the story. On the edge of my seat asking, how are they going to overcome this? What are they going to do about this? That's kind of the juice of life. And now that doesn't mean that life should be all challenges all the time, but that oftentimes in reflection, when we look back, our challenges are what define us. They're what allow us to grow, discover something new about ourselves or about the world or about our friendships and relationships and all of that wonderful stuff. And so the next time that you're being confronted with a challenge, realize that you might not be, this is one of my favorite quotes here, you might not be being cast into darkness, but you might just be getting planted. When a seed gets planted, it goes into the dark soil, doesn't see the sunlight for a little bit, but with a little bit of time, that's what allows it to form its roots so that it can grow up and up and up towards the light. And I think in our lives, it's the same way. Sometimes we're facing darkness, not realizing that we have simply been planted. So thank you for listening and tuning in to these self-mastery stories. Again, my name is Ryan Quirk. If you're interested in any of the work that I do, you can go to RQ, that's my initials, RQ, selfmastery.com, hence why I tell self-mastery stories. And if you go on Amazon, you can look up and buy my book, The Journey of Self-Mastery by Ryan T. Quirk, or just Ryan Quirk. The Journey of Self-Mastery, where I talk about a lot of these stories, these principles, and how to better take care of your mind, body, and spirit and live a happier, healthier, and wealthier life. Thank you very much for listening, Teen Sports listeners, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome back to Teen Sports Radio, everyone. This is Sky Ellsworth, and I'm a student at Life Chiropractic College West. And as always, I am very excited to be here with you today. This is a really fun time because there is a changing of seasons afoot. We are heading into the fall months coming up, and we're transitioning out of summer, and we're starting to move into that phase where the overall energy starts to wind down and move towards rest. But it is also a time of transformation. Anytime we move between seasons, we experience shifts in life. And whether you're on the East Coast, where I'm from, where seasons are there's a very strong separation between seasons. You can really feel them. Or whether you're living out here in California and, maybe there's less space between the seasons, but the energy is still there. You still have new things happening. Maybe some of you are starting school again. Some of you may be wrapping up jobs, creating new friendships, meeting new teachers, starting new games, being on new teams. Whatever it is, there's a sense of newness. There's changes afoot. So how can we help to integrate transformation into our lives easily and effortlessly? Do we even want it to be easy and effortless? Is easy and effortless and comfortable always a good thing? So let's talk a little bit about what transformation is. And we've talked about the seasons before, but I want to recap a little bit and talk about transform from a different angle. Transform is about a lot of different things, but more than anything, it's about breaking with what was comfortable and choosing something different, adapting to something new so that we can have more energy to experience more. Where does this take us? Do you remember in the past how we talked about stability and instability? Anytime we experience new patterns in our nervous system where we have a greater ability to adapt, to experience change, anytime that happens, we open ourselves up to new experiences. And not only do we experience something new, but we find that we're actually open to it. We're adaptable to it. What does this look like on the other side if it's not energized? If the season of transform is not energized, we may find that when we start up school again, we're attached to our old friends. We're attached to the old games that we used to play. We're attached to how things were, and we like to hold on to that without opening ourselves up to experiencing new things, meeting new people. So how can we have enough energy available in our nervous systems and in our lives to create change, to create transformation in a positive way that opens us up to new experiences? Well, as always, this comes back to some of our basic fundamentals that we've talked about in the past. And the first and foremost, we have AAA, and that's becoming aware of something, acknowledging it, and accepting it. And oftentimes, as we start to move into the season of transformation, if we find that we're not feeling as open to new experiences or new friends or whatever it may be, we have the opportunity to acknowledge, to become aware of first, acknowledge and accept that we may be feeling a little bit stuck. And for those of you that have listened to the 12 stages of healing in the past, this is stage 3. Stage 3 is where we start to move out of the season of discover. There's a little transition here, and into the season of transform. From there, we start to move into this place of enough, where there's a little bit more energy where we can say that, hey, this isn't working. I deserve more. I want more. I realize that my experiences right now are limited, that I'm stuck in a mindset, a perspective, a certain set of outcomes, and I choose more because I know that I deserve that. So enough of this. And then from there, we start to move into this. I'm ready now. I'm so much readier than I was for more. It's time. The time is now. I'm ready. And then from there, we start to move into a place of recognition of the things that are no longer working for us. And we start to recognize, okay, what are these new things that we like better? And in order to make this season of transform really effective for us, really powerful for our lives, we need to recognize, especially in this stage, we need to recognize the things that are no longer working. We need to recognize that those are part of the ego, that these are things that are overshadowing and overpowering and stepping in for what the soul's purpose actually is. And when we can recognize what the soul's purpose actually is, and we can have enough energy and belief in ourselves to choose that, we start to align ourselves with our higher purpose. And as we've talked about before, when you're in that alignment with the higher purpose, you naturally fall into a state of energy richness. And in that energy richness, you're not only able to feel good about yourself, but you're able to use all of that extra energy to inspire others, to pull people along on your mission, to start reaching out and inspiring community to also experience that energy richness and experience more. So, as you're going through this transition into the fall season, out of summer, have this in mind. Really understand that everyone will be going through these same stages, and just be aware of them when they show up, AAA them, become aware of it, acknowledge it, and accept it, and start to use this opportunity as fuel for growth. Instead of falling back into those old patterns, those old friends, those old routines, recognize that part of life is leaning into the discomfort. It's not necessarily letting go of those old things, but it's having that and more. It's recognizing that we're all experiencing new things and new changes and new dimensions of who we are. And that's okay. That's perfectly normal. And to be able to lean into that and allow that other universal intelligence, that force that's out there to guide us to who we were always meant to be, instead of trying to control that narrative. When we can let go, when we can surrender the ego and lean into that instability, that's when we truly start to grow. And it will be uncomfortable sometimes. It may be uncomfortable the whole time, but that's okay, because what's on the other side is when you truly start to feel where the magic is. But what if you could also experience that magic now by recognizing that the season of transform is not something to be afraid of, that changes and new experiences are actually positive things that can not only lift us to new heights, but just the fact that they're different, just the fact that it's something new is something that's very powerful. One of the things that comes to mind for me is when I have a patient come in and they're experiencing some sort of chronic condition that they've been suffering from for years, whether that's pain, whether they've been stuck in a story for a really long time. One of the first things that we do is we introduce an instability into the system, directly into the nervous system, directly into the body, where the person has to do something or try something that they've never done before. A really good example of this that came up in one of the classes today was doing some of those right versus left brain synchronizing activities that we don't normally do. One of the ones that we did was starting writing a sentence with your non-dominant hand and then moving it into your dominant hand, or vice versa as you're halfway through the sentence, or even doing something that's a little bit more physical, like standing up against a wall so that you're facing into the wall with your toes touching the wall as well, and then lifting one leg up, bending the knee, lifting it up against the wall while lifting the arm up against the wall, so that your thumb is level with your eyes, and then repeating that on the other side. There's a feeling of, wow, I haven't done that before. There's a feeling of instability there, and that can encourage the nervous system. Wow, it's okay to experience something new. And when that comes up in life, your nervous system will be like, okay, I can do this new thing. I've got this. I have the energy for it. I'm looking forward to the discomfort. That's okay, because there's growth there. There's a complete change in perspective. And not only is there a change in perspective, but you're actually able to hold multiple perspectives at once. And that immediately takes you to an energy-rich state. That's magical state where life is happening for us, not to us, and everything just feels intuitive and magical, and you truly feel that connection with who you are and who you were always meant to be. So those are my words of wisdom for today.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Hello, hello. Teen Sports Radio family, it's Dominique from Santa Barbara Wellness Center. Today, we're talking about something that honestly feels harder than running a marathon in flip-flops. Strengthening your attention in this very distracting world. I mean, let's be real. Life right now is like one giant group chat where everyone's typing at once, notifications are pinging, and somehow there's always one person sending memes about possums, and supposedly we're supposed to focus? Yeah, okay. But here's the good news, teens. You actually can train your attention like a muscle. It just takes a few hacks. So let's walk through 5 of them. The first one is, don't scratch that cell phone itch. You know the moment. You're in the middle of homework and your brain whispers, just check your phone real quick. It'll only take a second. Next thing you know, it's 2 hours later, and you are watching a video about a parrot singing, "Let it go." Yeah. All right. That, my friends, is the cell phone itch. And here's the trick. Don't scratch it. Right? When you resist, your brain learns patience. Start with small wins. Tell yourself, no phone until I finish this assignment. Or put it in another room and say, you're going to treat your phone like a toddler at a restaurant. You just need to put them at a different table while you can think. All right? How about number 2? Understand the progressive brain overload. So, here's the sciencey bit. Your brain really is like your muscles. You don't walk into the gym and bench press 300 pounds on day 1. Same with focus. You can't just go from scrolling 6 hours a day to suddenly studying 6 hours. Your brain will revolt. So try this. If you can focus for 20 minutes without distraction for a week, then bump it up to 30 minutes. And the week after that, 40 minutes. It's like leveling up on a video game. You just, you don't have to face things like, little goblins. Build your focus, stamina first. Number 3, tune in to more nutritious media. Not all media is junk food, but let's be honest, a lot of it is. It's just noise. And you wouldn't live on junk food, right? Talk alone, right? Okay, some of you say, challenge accepted, but others, hear me out. Your brain needs nutritious media, stuff that actually feeds your curiosity. That's the good stuff. Like listening to podcasts that makes you laugh or teaches you something, like Teen Sports Radio. Or finding YouTubers who actually build stuff instead of just screaming into the camera. Right now, I've been watching a lot of sourdough YouTube videos, how to make your starter and so forth. How about audiobooks when you're on a treadmill? So here's the secret. You don't have to give up the memes and the cat videos. You just have to mix them in with something that really fuels your growth. Think of it like a kale smoothie with a side of fries. Balance. Number 4. This is a really good one. Intentionally do hard things. Gotta say it again. Intentionally do hard things. We live in the easy button world, right? I think it was Staples who literally sold a button that says easy button. You press it. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Crazy. Okay. Don't know something? Google it. Hungry? DoorDash it. But here's the problem. Your focus gets lazy when you never do hard things. I actually have purchased a hand grinder for our wheat when we make our sourdough because I realized, none of us are getting a workout. We actually need to set ourselves up to do hard things because our bodies are happier. So here's the hack. Do something that hurts your brain a little bit, like try a puzzle or volunteer to solve that tricky math problem on the board. Read something that doesn't have emojis in it. And when you do hard things, your brain gets stronger. It's like running hills for your mind. And yeah, it is uncomfortable, but hey, so is leg day. So we still do leg days. Okay, well, maybe some of us skip a leg day every now and then, but don't skip the brain day, okay? Number 5, fast from the things you enjoy. That's a weird one. You hear me right? Fast from the things you enjoy. What the heck is Dominique talking about? Okay, I know this one sounds like punishment, but it's actually very powerful. Take a short break from what you love. Maybe it's Instagram. Maybe it's Fortnite. Maybe it's booba tea runs. I don't know. Step back for a day or a week. At first, it feels like you've lost a limb, but here's the magic. Your attention does a reset. Suddenly, the little things like hanging with friends in real life, actually hearing your own thoughts, start to feel special again. And when you go back to that thing that you fasted from, you appreciate it more. It's like having pizza after not having pizza for a week or two. It tastes like heaven because you gave it space. So why is all of this so healthy for you, teens? Because attention is your superpower. It is the thing that decides whether you crush your goals, whether you connect with people deeply, or just drift through life on autopilot. Strengthening your attention gives you back control in a world that wants you kind of scatterbrain all the time, like confetti. So, trust me, I've tried all these things, and once, I left my phone at home on accident, and I thought I was transported back to the 1800s. It was heavenly. I absolutely loved it. I kept reaching for my pocket like a ghost limb, and it wasn't there. But by the end of the day, I felt calmer. I wasn't so stressed out, and my brain wasn't buzzing. And it was like, wow, is this what peace feels like? So teens, try it out. Don't scratch that phone itch. Build focus like a muscle. Feed your brain on good media and do hard things. And sometimes fast from the stuff you love. Because when you do, you'll find that attention isn't just about focus, it's about freedom. And freedom is the real flex. You got this. Dominique Hackett from Santa Barbara Wellness Center. See you next time.
All right, Teen Sports Radio listeners, thank you, Dominique. Let me tell you, I am so grateful to all the listeners out there, but this is a wrap. We talked this week about attention spans, seasons changing, bouncing back from injuries, and why a little friction just keeps us moving forward. Remember, don't try to be everybody else, okay? They're already taken. Capital U, capital B, capital U. You be you. God bless. And we'll see you next week.